After the pandemic in 2020, the world is gradually returning to normalcy. However, the world around us is in a state that can only be defined as chaotic, with rising costs for food, fuel, and interest rates, as well as rumors of an impending global conflict. In this era, the typical American struggles to make ends meet. The typical American struggles to maintain a roof over their heads, constantly having to worry about having enough money to buy food. Where will the next come from? We observe a significant increase in foreclosed properties, the demise of the stock market, real estate market, and cryptocurrency. This leaves the populace feeling helpless and afraid. You would assume that in such a world, people would unite and develop connections to make life a little bit simpler. But instead, we notice a more pronounced gender gap, men choosing their own paths, women begging for money on the streets, and a lot more women selling themselves online. In addition to the constant deterioration of relationships, we observe the exact opposite of how things ought to be. It certainly sounds horrible. Imagine being in a world where the typical male was unable to find the average woman, and rather than working together to confront the difficult times ahead, they instead are destroying themselves. What kind of world would it be if people choose to suffer and do awful things on their own? But hold on, we already reside here. We don't need to imagine, we are living in it. This is how things really are in the world. Relationships are like a father in today's environment. Although it would be lovely to have one, it seems unnecessary, and as a result, we observe a declining number of long-lasting relationships that both parties involved are glad to have created. Nowadays, relationships are viewed as a crude joke by others. A joke, you see, is something that's amazing in the moment, but that, once the time has passed, becomes meaningless and forgotten, just like some of you guys' past relationships. At the time, your ex was entertaining, but where is she now? Some of you can't even recall the names or faces of your ex-partners. That's how horrible it is right now. I say it in order to introduce this idea. When will you guys realize that most of your relationships are a complete failure? I can't argue that some men have had some success. The majority of you guys are lousy at dating. Given your track record with women and the fact that relationships require two people to work, many of you guys should not even be thinking about getting into one. Not to mention the fact that it is completely not worth bothering in today's marketplace. Let's examine how contemporary women have viewed romantic relationships. Modern women have become the most unsuited to be in partnerships in the history of the United States, if not the entire planet, due to their abhorrent behavior. In the past 2 years, I don't think I've ever heard a woman say, "I can't wait to find a husband and start a family with him." I'll swear to you that I haven't, but I heard that a woman doesn't need a man and that they believe they are independent. Being with a modern woman means she will bring nothing more to the table than her delicious, watery bowls, so don't expect anything else. Men are ruined. This is probably some of the crap you will hear from modern women. I'm too young to settle down and get married. I'm strong and independent, don't need a man. I'm living my best life, and the list goes on. So why on earth would I enter a relationship when I'll never be enough? She won't give me anything that I found value in. I've observed modern women will have no trouble reporting to their small positions and serving a boss. But the minute I ask for a sandwich, she acts like I asked to bring me one of her kidneys. I am not kidding. What hope do we have? The reality is the majority of us males, we are just battling a losing game right from the start. If we get into a relationship with a woman, up until one or both of us pass away, it's damn near impossible to be with a woman who wouldn't betray us or cheat on us from the moment the relationship began. Not to mention all the methods modern women are resorting to nowadays. I mean the women who are exploited for profit. If any of you are interested in learning more about the unethical practices involved in the monetization of women, you should look into seeking arrangements. You guys will be astounded by what you discover there. Because of you two, I can't say too much about it, but let me put it this way. Let's imagine you have a niece who is now enrolled in college. Due to her significant student loan debt and high living costs, she finds it difficult to make ends meet. Rather than looking for a part-time work, she decides to sign up for the dating website Seeking Arrangements. Now notice how when she needed money, she got on a dating service rather than looking for employment. I want you to add up the numbers, and then you'll understand what the dark side is. This is what you guys are up against. That is how women are being profited from nowadays. And don't get me started on the ones that sell themselves online for money. That is now taking place in 2022. I don't want to hear, no, not me. The women on those websites will become the future spouses of your kid and some of you guys. Given that some of you may soon enter into new partnerships, not me, that won't be a problem for me. I'm taking my own path. You guys are free to do what you want. Accepting this message is open to anyone. My responsibility is to provide you with the knowledge you need to make the greatest choice possible when it comes to dating women. But be aware that women are increasingly choosing to date wealthy men rather than guys who are on par with them or below them in terms of finance. In my perspective, the plague of corridors has ruined relationships, and for those of you who don't know what a corridor is, it's simply a carousel for roosters. Do you guys realize how difficult it is to locate a woman on the streets that isn't promiscuous or has more bodies than a morgue? The women in this generation no longer value or care about virtue. It appears as though they are vying to spread the most salami through these streets. Let's face it, 90% of women today is for the streets. In today's busy market, genuine decent guys rarely receive delicious watery guts. However, I see her with Tyrone and Chad. I observe her with the person who consistently causes her heartbreak. I observe her with the allegedly violent cheater. And guess who I see her with? The guy who was a broke Dusty? I can't picture her with the decent man. This is why it's not worth it. Forget it, boys. Just concentrate on you. I can certainly state that 99% of all relationships fail. Based on what I've observed with my own two eyes and what others around me have experienced. Yes, you hear that correctly. 99% of all relationships end in divorce. Since many of you don't believe me after hearing that bold claim, I'll show you how nearly all relationships fail. I want you to acquire a book or some paper and a pen, then jot down all the names of the people you have ever shared a bed with or had intercourse with throughout the course of your entire life. Once you've written down everyone's names, add up all the names on the page and record the result. Then create a table with 2 columns, writing the number of current partners above the second column and the number of prior partners above the first. The last stage is below the column that lists the total number of previous partners. Write the number of partners you presently have in the second column, marked current partner. For the majority of people, you should have noted that you are in a relationship with 1 or 0 people, and that out of all your previous relationships, you only had 1 or 0, which is a failure rate of either 100% or 99%. Isn't that sad? You went through all that suffering and nonsense just to be alone or with one person. When the chances of being in a stable, committed long-term relationship are at 1% or below, I believe we may just give up. To put the icing on the cake for you, let's quickly examine a Reddit story. After that, I'll list the 3 heartbreaking reasons why 99% of relationships fail. I'm scared, we're moving toward a dead bedroom with my hubby, reads the title of this Reddit tale. When we got married, I was aware of what I was going into and determined that his other incredible traits outweighed the dreadful sex. It appears like she accepted this man, folks. She seemed to be approaching the age where ladies become more proactive about getting married and wearing that ring on their finger. And only this man would make a commitment to her. God have mercy on his soul. This marriage will end in 5 years or less if he knew what she was saying about him behind his back for the world to see. If only he knew he had made one of the biggest blunders of his life. Now that we have been married for 5 years, it is getting harder and harder for me to desire to have pleasure in the bedroom. There is no libido issue. I really want nice sex, but I can't bring myself to say yes at 11 p.m. when he rolls over and grabs a boob after burping. Man, she is now beginning to notice flaws in him that she previously chose to ignore in order to get his commitment. But now that she is aware she has him, and he is not leaving suddenly, it's an issue. Every action he takes results in a problem. I like to refer to this as sleeping with the enemy. He's simply there to pay the bills, in my opinion, and the longer this connection lasts, the less sweet water he's going to get. She has no love in her heart for this guy. My bank account is drier than her guts. It's a darn bad for this guy right now since he still needs to contribute, but she isn't required to or interested in giving him what he agreed to on the dotted line. Let's go on. One of the issues is the lack of effort he puts towards seduction. However, when I express that I'd like a little more romanticism, he claims that he's trying but is unsure of how to go about it. His loud farts irritate me and turn me off. She wants the same lengthy, passionate strokes that Chad used to give her, but this guy isn't Chad, and he doesn't seem to have much expertise in the bedroom. Moreover, based on her account, he is probably not good in bed. To be honest, most men perform poorly in bed. I must thus chastise the men who believe that giving their wife or girlfriend the 5-stroke special will be enough. No, if you want to even come close to pleasing a woman, you have to go around. Both in the short and long terms, the roar and snore game will fail. Women will complain about how horrible you are in bed to their friends and online if you don't improve. Therefore, you guys should blow the back out if you want repeat business. Oh, and by the way, file for divorce, or end your relationship now if you're not getting your girl any orgasms. Because another man, whose salami is probably bigger than yours, is for sure making her bust out and wet the sheets. Let's go on. Am I being too pretentious? How can I explain to him that his approach is inappropriate? I've repeatedly informed him that sex is important, as in shoving his erection into my hip while requesting to smooch. It will be challenging to pass. This seems easy to me, but I believe he is frustrated because he is unable to be who he truly is. Right, guys? Everyone who wants this marriage to end in divorce says, I do. I know what my answer is. Males, these are the stuff that married people go through, who won't admit it and keeps acting as though everything is fine. It is entirely up to you if you want to take a chance. As for me, no way, marriage is a big no-no. Let's examine the 3 causes of failed partnerships. The first reason is that ladies don't care about you. Everything is about them. The time when women sought to please and serve their husbands is long past. Remember that those times are gone now. Relationships today are entered into with the idea of what can you do for me? For a man, they don't want to wash, cook, or clean. Be calm, be obedient, and look after the family. Today's fact is that most women enter relationships either out of boredom or to manipulate most guys. If you can't find anything worthwhile in a relationship with a modern lady, you know what to do. Ask yourself, what do I get out of a relationship with a modern woman? Second, there are far too many warning signs and ex-partners among modern women. As a man, I don't want to learn that the lady I'm going to have sex with has had 100 encounters with men. Oh, no way. What exactly would I receive if many men obtained you for little or no cost? I wouldn't take that offer. Not only that, but some people are also erasing unborn children, participating in activities with people of different genders, and selling themselves for money. No, if that's the best that can be found here, head to Mars. This planet is doomed. If you guys don't mind that, fine, but I know most men don't want it. Therefore, there are some guys who are opting not to participate in the game. Sorry, that's just the game. It is what it is. Men not being able to find the women they want is the last cause of failed relationships. The average male cannot meet the demands of modern women because they have raised the bar so high. Most men are simply tired of being expected to offer women everything, while they can't always receive what they want from them. Does it come as a surprise then that relationships no longer work? It's all done. No one person can meet another person's needs and expectations totally, and women aren't prepared to meet men halfway when one or both persons in a relationship have unrealistic expectations and their desires and needs aren't being satisfied. Let it burn, in my opinion. Let's watch as contemporary relationships go up in smoke. Together, we will be here, each of us doing our own thing and living our own lives. If you concur, click the like and subscribe buttons.